All right, the great Bambi 42. We're here at the Mode campus. I got a very special guest with me today, Devon Jackson, the relentless DJ Quick. First things first, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Just got done working a nice shift and then took me a nice little nap. We on the last threshold of our weight cut. We weigh in on Thursday and we fight on Friday.
Hell yeah, fight night on Friday, fighting for Front Street Fights. How are you feeling just going into this fight? And how has it been fighting for this promotion?
It was my first fight at the beginning of this year, and I had a ball. Honestly, great energy for the walkout, and then I got fight of the night. So it was on a week's notice. Had another fight fall through, and then it just, I don't know, in the graces of God, it just kind of fell through, and it was a lovely night.
Yeah, I remember. I was watching the fight. I think you fought on the same card as like Austin Arnett and
No, for sure.
who else was on that card? It was
There was another dude that's part of Spokane. There was just a lot of local guys from this general area, and no, we all showed out that night. We all got some wins.
yeah. I remember that was a dope night. I guess I kind of want to just take it back, like take it back to your earliest memories of mixed martial arts and just how you got into this sport and just your journey up to this point.
It's funny you say that because like I was going through the little memories on your phone, and I remember when I first started back in 2019, and I was just talking to one of my coworkers. I was like, "Bro, I was ass, bro. I joined the gym and I was watching my mitt work to now. I'm doing it before and after, and it's like a night and day difference. And it's been quite the journey, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I didn't know I was gonna be a fighter, but I've been able to have a great influence in the world through it, and so now I'm just pursuing the avenue.
Do you remember like your first like memories of mixed martial arts, your first fights? Do you have?
Yeah, I remember when I first moved to Washington, the Pacific Northwest, and I fought for Rick Little. I fought at Northern Quest. It was their outside event, and my opponent was a little bit bigger than me. I got down there, and Rick was like, "What's an amateur fight? Like, what do you expect? You're a little bit smaller than I thought you were gonna be." And I was like, "Bro, I told you how small I was. I just came from 125 from wrestling in college." And for me, I'd already kind of got some fans to come down, and I just locked in. I was like, cool, I'm just grateful for the opportunity. If I'm supposed to be here, then I should be able to handle whatever obstacle that's in my way. So
Damn, I didn't even know that. What year was that?
that was the end of 2019.
2019, outdoor venue, Northern Quest Casino for
Dude
Rick
had
Little.
about, 5 inches on me, probably about another 10 pounds, 15 pounds on me. And I don't even train in the gym for probably about a month and a half.
That's crazy because you haven't been with Rick your entire career, have you?
No, I met Rick that day.
You met Rick that day. But even then you didn't start training at SICK at that point, did you?
No, I literally moved and I went to three local gyms, seeing what would probably be the best fit. And none of the gyms were about fighter gyms, but they did have MMA or Muay Thai. And so I just took the best opportunity and I was like, well, I'm going to learn. And then the coach there didn't even want me to fight. Like, I was just like, I remember signing up for the fight and I was like, hey, will you be my corner? He's like, I don't coach fighters. And I was like, oh, I guess you're just going to leave me hanging, bro. You've been holding mitts for me for the last month. This is what I'm doing. And he actually showed up for me and he actually was my coach for a good 2 years. So we had a good run.
When did you start working with Rick Little and basically training only at SICK Jitsu?
This past year, and so I made the transition, and it's never been better, honestly. Great teammates, and a lot of people around me that can kind of help elevate me and kind of get me to that next level. And so it's like that saying, like if you put a shark in a fish tank, he's only gonna grow as big as where his surrounding is. And so it's a little bit bigger ocean around these parts.
For sure. I mean, you got big name guys coming out of there. I know one of your main training partners, Brady Houston. You
Man,
got freaking Ashton Charlton. You got Caden Shaw. Some big name guys coming out of there.
no, you got some animals, and like I said, they help push me. And training with those higher level guys, it only helps elevate me. So it's grateful for the opportunity.
Is Front Street the only like main promotion that you've been fighting for your entire career, or?
No, I've actually fought. My first promotion was Fury. Beat a couple cats from there. Fought for LFA. I fought for Peak. And so I've been trying to traveling around. The next thing to do is just kind of collect that title. I've gotten a title as an amateur. I've yet to get that title as a pro because I've just kind of been bouncing around. But should be getting a title shot after I get this win.
That's sick, man. Yeah, you're right there too, man. I mean, you are unbelievably like fast. 125. I mean, it's just like don't blink kind of fighting. Um, how has it been just fighting for Front Street? Have they been taking care of you?
No, for sure. Like I said, it was a grateful opportunity. They got me a nice little sponsor bag this last fight, and they were grateful that I was able to show up and then show out. Came out and had a first round finish. The crowd went nuts, and then they loved my energy even before and after the fight. So I'm looking forward to going back.
Is the UFC the main goal for you right now? Is just building up that pro record and getting to the UFC? Is that the main?
That is the goal. I just want to prove to everybody that it was possible, and like to myself, I know I belong with those dogs. I've actually beat a guy who's in the UFC. Got to train at the UFC PI, and so I got to train with a couple guys that are at that level, and I know I'm at that level. So that's what it's really about, just to showcase that I do belong there. And if the Graces show me that I'm supposed to be number one in the world at one point in time, then that's just what it's gonna be. But I go out there and fight my heart out every time.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with Rick Little, and I see you out there helping set up the cage. You never shy away from like putting in the behind the scenes work. You know what I'm saying?
A man of many hats. Just yeah, I don't know. It's just that old saying. Just if you put in the work, eventually you'll get the results. So it's a lot of hardships, a lot of ups and downs, but it's just lessons. And I believe that it's like my brand. Life is memories. You make memories, and memories never fade.
For
So just
sure.
continue to make them as you go through life.
Yeah, and it seems like you want to put yourself into every aspect of the sport. You want to play all the roles. You want to see how the sausage is made, I guess you could say.
Yes, the secret sauce. I've been an announcer. I was an announcer probably about a couple weeks ago. I've done that a couple times. Like you said, set up the cage, corner. I've kind of done all the little tricks of the jobs. Shoot, I was somebody interviewed me upon being a matchmaker. I don't know, I might endeavor in doing that one day, and still haven't got to be a ref. So I'm still looking forward to doing that at some point in time.
That would be amazing. I know Anthony Hamlet, the best we got in the game. I saw that he just got like the meta glasses, so he's going to be wearing those glasses for the Northern Quest show on
Yes,
Saturday.
sir. He was asking me about kind of helping him with the tech, and I told him no problem. And yeah, it's gonna bring a whole totally different perspective. I actually seen an article that UFC was like trying to get into it, but they just yet to drop it. So I think Ham is trying to get on the ball and kind of get ahead of that.
It's a cool angle. I mean, I feel like the cameras, the quality of the cameras on the glasses aren't as like we're not to the point where it's like super
Crispy.
clean yet. But I mean, just to be able to see,
That visual, I
that.
think that was just going to bring a totally different game. I remember they tried to do the GoPro, and he was explaining to me that it doesn't give the right angle, and so like the glasses kind of just give you one step closer to what the fans would appreciate, and
Yeah.
so I think it's just going to be another level up.
I seen you're also really big on social media, man. Like you're really like trying to put content out daily, give people like entertaining content. When did you start like trying to really pursue content, and how has that been going for you so far?
Man, I created the brand coming out of college, and I knew I needed to be a brand ambassador, basically coming out of college, just to be a fighter. There's more than just fighting in the cage. Social media is a very important part, especially in this day and age, this generation. And I'm not gonna be lying. I be slacking sometimes. It is hard to be consistent, but I've been trying to put out as much content as I can. I've been doing better this last month, but I've actually been able to kind of monetize my Snapchat a little bit. Hit that 10K mark on my Instagram, and I finally just got my 1K on YouTube. So yeah, I told everybody I was about to be doing a giveaway. I actually found that out yesterday. I was like, oh man, I finally got 1.2. So we're moving up in the world.
That's sick, man. Yeah, same thing. I just got monetized on the YouTube channel. The toughest part is hitting the 4,000 hours of watched
I
content within the
I
past year.
I finally hit that. I hit that before I hit my 1K subscribers.
That's crazy. That's wild.
And now I was like, man, I was like, but what I realized is that the more consistent I'm putting out those shorts and stuff, I'm actually getting the views, but I just didn't notice it, so I wasn't doing it as much. And then, like I said, I checked it a couple days ago, and I was like, oh dang, I actually finally hit that 1K. So now, yeah, we're gonna endeavor and see what that next step looks like.
That's sick, man. Yeah, I think so. You're bigger on the shorts than the long form.
Yeah. So how I hit that video mark was the longer my fight videos, of course, and then being some of those top prospects. That's what got me that viewer time, and then it was just putting out the smaller content that actually brings out my personality is what is getting those subscribers, and so I'm finding that mix, and yeah, I take it one step at a time. I'm just grateful for the opportunity upon the journey.
Yeah, and yeah, you're like I said, your content's entertaining. Like it's educational. Like you're teaching techniques and stuff like that. So it's definitely you're definitely heading in the right direction and doing more than a lot of other fighters. I mean,
I'm just trying to bring some smiles and, like you said, some value.
yeah.
I got a series that's coming out, so stay tuned. I got a first recap of it coming out, and I just got the rest of the specs for it. So I'm about to start pushing some more content that's gonna be a little bit more funny, especially for the both fight and just entertainment side.
That's dope. And I think that by you doing that, like, that's gonna hopefully get the UFC to like see you even faster. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they gravitate towards people who are actually trying to promote themselves and put themselves out there more than just people with the highlight reel.
No, for sure. Like I said, it's an equal balance. I kind of look at it like WWE. They're
Yeah.
entertainers, and so but we actually like really fight, and so we're like modern day gladiators. But like you said, if you're not putting out that content, and trying to bring some value upon like the viewership of your own self, then it's just kind of hard to market yourself.
Yeah. And how are the sponsors going for you up to this point? Like,
Uh,
who are your main sponsors?
Shout out to A&A Roofing. They've been holding it down. Luna's Auto Repair. They keep me driving around the city. I drive a lot from here to Seattle and in between. And a lot of other local sponsors like my boxing gym, Eagle Stone, Sick Jitsu, of course, where I train out of, and the Champ Burrito. I got a meal prep service, so I sponsor myself.
That's sick. Yeah, I saw you were down at Eagle Stone doing some work with Coral.
Man, amazing coach. It's a blessing that we've crossed paths, and a very genuine guy.
That's dope. Yeah, I know he does some work with Kai Stewart, so I've been down there filming a little bit, and he's building like a nonprofit organization, boxing, getting kids off the street, like really trying to help them, change their lives, which
And
is
that's
crazy.
that's what I'm all a part of, and so I'm just grateful to be a part of it. And the gym's kind of getting set up upon the foundation on the inside. We finally got that kind of squared away. We got mats all the inside now, two boxing rings, cage, and slowly it's summertime, so all the kids are out, so we're slowly getting some more members, and no, it's gonna be a really amazing thing, and when it's all said and done.
That's sick. Yeah. Shout out Coral. Shout out Eagle Stone Boxing, doing big things out here. I guess let's just talk about your fight, career up to this point. One thing I ask a lot of fighters that I interview a lot of fighters in this podcast studio, and one thing I always ask them is, do you like fighting? Is fighting something that you enjoy to do? Is it, you know?
I have fun out there. I think it's like everybody has those pre nerves, and it's just that's because you generally care. But when you hit that walkout and you walk through those curtains, it's showtime, and there's no greater feeling upon hearing the crowd, hearing that music, and when you step in the cage and looking across of like, okay, this is your time to kind of showcase that work. And I do kind of say it's like in the back room, like, man, this is crazy. But then I'm like, oh yeah, we locked in. We about to do this though.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy it. I love to test the hard work that I put in. Honestly.
Yeah, a lot of you have like GSP who's saying like he's throwing up before every fight. The nerves like really getting to him, and then you have guys who are like who it really seems like they just love to go out there and perform.
Love to bring some pain.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just like I said, going into the cage, I don't never know what's gonna happen, and so you go in there with the unexpected, and I guess that's where those nerves come from. And I think you just kind of set those aside and just leave it all out there on the mat. That's the best way to put it. Some people do get really nervous, and I've seen some people, like you said, throwing up behind the scenes and get pre-fight jitters. I just, in the moment when I hit those curtains, it's just like showtime. I have no greater feeling, and nobody can ever take away that feeling of getting your hand raised. And so I guess that's what it's ultimately about.
do you have any like fights that kind of stand out as like some of your biggest moments like in the cage?
My very first pro win, that was a a whole case. I remember getting kicked off a plane, being rerouted, getting to weigh-ins 2 hours late, having to cut 2.5 pounds in 10 minutes so I don't lose part of my purse, and end up pulling out a dub in the second round finish. And that was with Fury, and that was probably one of my most notable wins. And then my last fight back in November for LFA, I really got to see that dog within myself, and so that was another showstopper against Christian Natividad. Um, it was unfortunate upon the ending of it, but like I had so many fans and just people around the world that were just like, "Hey, that was like a Dana White Contender Series type fight. Like you guys were so entertaining, and you guys were really trying to go out there and kill each other." And that's what it's ultimately about. It's putting on a show for the crowd, win or lose. Like if everybody enjoyed the fight, then I'm satisfied. It filled my cup.
That's dope. Yeah. Do you have any message to like young and up and coming fighters? Maybe something you've experienced in your career that you feel like you can pass on, or just like any words of wisdom for young guys?
I get that question a lot from the up and coming fighters. Just join a gym. Don't be afraid. Every fighter wants to be a fighter until they get hit, and learn how to get hit. Like take it one step at a time, and it's like you're thinking about starting that race. You just have to start. That's what I did. I talked to a lot of fighters how I moved across state, moved from the South Texas, Houston, Texas, and I started from scratch. I found a gym. I found a coach. I've switched coaches. Met a lot of athletes along the way. Networking and just going to the gym every day with the mindset of like, what can I learn, and what am I gonna train outside of the gym? Because you can put in a lot of work in the gym, but it's what ultimately you do both in and out is what's gonna set the difference side and get you closer to your goal.
Yeah, and I think the good thing is like you're in a division that I feel like is kind of shallow when it comes like the UFC doesn't like like the 125-pound division is not like super stacked, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like that call could be coming at any moment, and it probably is. I feel like a lot of the times it's short notice, somebody will drop out, and it's like you got to just be ready to go when that phone call comes.
And that's what it feels like my whole entire career. Just no need to get ready if you stay ready. I'm always in a like year-round fight camp. I literally think the longest I've had for a break is probably about a weekend, and then I'm right back in the gym. It's because I never know when I'm gonna get a short notice call. All my fights are about short notice.
Yeah.
I think the longest I've ever had is probably about 3 weeks. And like you said, the UFC, the 125, they got some dogs in that division, but they definitely need some more to kind of bring some of that division up upon entertainment side. And I'm there to bring it. I'm a finisher. I'm not going out there just to kind of just hold somebody down. I'm out there trying to get a finish or be finished, whatever
Yeah.
it may be.
What is your thoughts on the 125-pound division? Is there anybody in that division that like, do you feel like you match up very well with like the top five in that division?
Oh no, for sure. Like a kid that I beat, Joshua Van. He's fighting for a title. You guys watched his fight last weekend. I'm not gonna lie, yo. They did put on a fight of the year. They for some 25 pounders just to stand out there and bang, Royal. I do give them their kudos, but to see fighters like that, and I beat a fighter like that, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I might not be exactly at that threshold, but I am climbing that mountain, and I know I'm capable of beating guys like that. And like I said, it's like one opportunity, one call, and showing out in that opportunity.
Do you know anything about the guy that you're stepping in there with on Friday?
Gutierrez is how you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure he's a boxer. I don't do too much research on my opponents ever. I feel like they need to be worried about me. And like I said, if we're gonna throw hands, oh, best believe I got some power behind mine. But if we get into a clinch, it's just I'm gonna let the fighter within me take over. I know learning from my past lessons, don't get overzealous and try to force stuff. That's where I've had some shortcomings, and I've just had to reevaluate and understand that, like, during a fight, there's open doors upon where you can take that win. And if you don't take it, you're kind of ultimately now fighting yourself. You are in a battle within yourself and then your opponent, but if you're trying to force stuff, find a highlight, hey, yo, anything can happen in that dynamic of time. And so, like I said, you just got to take whatever comes.
Do you have any message to him going into this fight?
I hope you're ready for that relentless pressure, yo, because we are not going to go 3 rounds, I'll tell you that. We're going to be finished within the distance, probably within the first. So, just going to say what I say.
Do you feel like you've been hurt in your career, like at any point, like taking shots that actually
Yeah, when I got eye poked, bro, I thought I was blind.
what?
That was that Christian fight back in November, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been clipped. I remember my very first loss. I got clipped, and that was a very controversial fight. I wanted to rematch, still haven't got it. Colin Loud, you still got my number, bro. So I'm still gonna get that win back over you one day. I know you were scared, but yeah, Christian clipped me in the first, and it's always that like shot that you never expect.
Yeah.
And so it was like a flash, kind of recovered, and homie was just strong. And so he got the better of me in the first. I did recover, But after the recovery, I was like, oh no, I'm in this fight. I remember going back to the corner and my coach was like trying to like get me back straight, and I was like, no, bro, we're good. Like, let me get my sip of water and you step out of the cage. I got this. I'm about to handle business. And I actually did what I told everybody leading up to that fight what I was gonna do, and I had a phenomenal second round. I think they said I threw 128 strikes and I landed about 95 of them, and almost got the finish right at the end, and then came out in the third with real pressure. And then, like you said, I got eye poked. You can call it for what it is. I had somebody else send me the stuff, and I did fight my fight. I fought the fight the way it is. I'm not gonna make excuses, but when you're compromised, like I understand refs miss stuff, but I still feel like if anything, I would have got a split decision loss. But I handled business, and I earned a lot of fans. I had fun, and like they said, it was like the fight of the night, and everybody said I did my thing. So that, like I said, that was fun in what it was.
Was the recovery process?
Oh man, that was the first time I've had stitches. They did that in the back room. My eye was shut for about a half an hour, and yeah, I literally couldn't see. So imagine like somebody throwing a hook and leading with their thumb. A lot of people see the eye poke like this, and it's a reaction. I've seen people get hit, and you can tell if it's damaged. And then everybody's normal reaction upon like an eye poke is like,
Yeah.
and I've never ever seen somebody get eye poke like that, and I literally couldn't open my eye, and so I was freaked out because we actually get eye tests before our fights, and I've seen people get their retina torn, and so me instantly was like, oh snap, I'm blind, I'm not gonna be able to see.
Yeah, worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I step out of the cage, and I'm telling the doctor, and I'm like, hey bro, I still can't open my eye, and he was like, well, can you see white? And I was like, bro, I can't even see. And then I finally got my eye open, and yeah, it took about 2.5 weeks for recovery. My eye was all black and blue. I'd never seen my eye so damaged, but as part of the game, I recovered, and I was right back in the gym, honestly. So
Damn, that's crazy. Who's gonna be in your corner for this fight on Friday?
Rick Little and possibly Juliana Miller. So
That's dope.
they were there last time, and they make a good power couple upon getting me what I need to do and keeping me focused within the fight.
Was your last fight the first time that they had cornered you?
Yes. Yeah, because the very first fight was with LFA, and that's when Rick finally got a good gist upon what kind of fighter I was. He knew who I was, and I've trained at the gym, training with Brady and stuff, and but it was just like building that relationship, and so I think that fight really molded that bond, and now he truly has my back upon moving forward.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know he's a man of few words. You know, he won't say a whole lot in the corner.
For sure. It's been an adjustment. Like I said, there's a lot of different coaching styles coming from being an athlete with different coaches. But what he does say speaks dividends. And I've had to explain that to a couple other people. And like some coaches overcoach, and some coaches don't say anything. But I feel like I got a good gist of who he is, and he tells me the things that I need to hear. And like I said, I don't need to be overcoached. I just need to hear the little details of what I'm doing right or what he wants of me. And I remember I was throwing an inside leg kick because I'm a Muay Thai guy. I remember throwing an inside leg kick, and he's like, "Stop doing that!" And I was like, being stubborn, like, "Nah, this is what I do." And I kept getting like barely grazed, and then I got one good ringer, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna listen."
That's funny. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, that's sick. I mean, good luck on Friday, man. Like I always say, you're a very exciting fighter. You're fun to
Appreciate that.
watch. I think, like I said, the 125 pound in the UFC division is needing talent, and you're right
Open
there.
opportunity for sure, and I can't wait. There's a lot of guys that are in that division that I would love the opportunity to go fight. Like you said, our division's really fast. We're strong, and you got some guys that aren't looking for that finish, but I always am.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'll bring another exciting element when I do get there. But until then, I hope you guys all on the regional scene enjoy the show.
What's the main goal for you? You know, say you go out there, you finish this guy on Friday night. Like, what's next? Like, yeah, what's on the horizon for you?
I need me another belt. You know that shiny thing that goes around people's waist always brings a lot of attention. I think that's the one element that I'm missing. I think if I get a title, Nick Manor's gonna give me another look. And like I said, I beat some of those top dogs. It's just being patient, being healthy, and staying ready.
Yeah.
So,
Do you feel like you're in like the prime of your career right now?
oh, for sure. My hands look really clean. I got the grappling side. I'm always improving, but man, like being able to develop my hands coming from like a wrestling background, like I've had coaches like tell me like, "Hey, bro, don't get overzealous on your hands," and I'm like, but what comes with fighting. Like you develop as a fighter, and that's what it's about. Like punch people in the face, elbowing, utilizing your knees.
Doing damage,
Yeah, and that
really.
becomes like really exciting. And as a wrestler, like we've always wanted to fight the best, and so yeah, it's always just like a new challenge, and I just can't wait. And so like that's why I said, however the fight goes, I just gonna let it play out because I have all finishes in my fights. So like I don't plan to go to the distance. I don't never want to go to the judges. I don't want them to be involved at all. Honestly,
Yeah.
if there could be an overtime, I'd be all for it.
And Front Street puts on a they're a good promotion. Like they're flashy. You know, you're gonna have a cool walkout. Do you have a specific song or anything like that you're gonna be walking out to?
Man, I always have that upbeat, like 90s hip hop, a little bit of rap. I don't really know until the week of, or like probably like a day before the fight, because I'm always just going through my playlist and kind of what gets on top of my head. I was actually trying to get a local music artist, so I can actually bring some exposure to the up and coming and bringing value to the world. Like
Yeah.
those up artists already got the platform, so I was trying to give the lower tier artists a chance to kind of blow up, but. The artist that I was working with kind of fell through, so I guess we're just gonna stay tuned and watch me walk out on Friday. But
Yeah.
we're gonna have a good time. Last time it was Hollywood swinging,
Let's
and
go.
I had a grand time with that finish.
That's dope. Well, like I said, good luck, man. Anything else you want to leave the people with? Anything you want to say before this big fight Friday? I feel Front Street fights. Devon Jackson going in there, always puts on a show. Anything you want to leave the people with?
We on that can't stop, won't stop terror. Stay relentless in your pursuit and whatever you're doing, and life is memories. Memories never fade. So shout out to all my sponsors, my friends, families, and all the support in the world that do watch me. And stay tuned because you know your boy's coming for a finish on Friday night.
That's
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, baby. Friday, Front Street fights. Life is memories. Like I'm big into that too. Like I'm a videographer, so I'm always going out there trying to capture big moments for people. So I can definitely relate to you on that end. But good luck on Friday. I know you're going to come out with the victory. Are you leaving that same Friday and coming back here or no?
Yes, sir. Because there's a local show here over at Northern Quest. For all those that know on the Pacific Northwest scene, we'll be at Northern Quest with Excite Fight. I'll be there cornering a couple guys. So go handle business in the cage and then fly right back into the coaching role. So
That's wild that you're going to be there on Saturday. I'll be there on Saturday too. I'm looking forward to Caden Shaw versus Sharon Spain. I feel
oh
like
man, that is going to be an exciting fight. I really don't know how to foresee that matchup, but I know Caden's excited because it's a little bit tougher matchup for him. And there's a couple other guys that are from my Six Jitsu gym that I'm really excited to watch, like Braxton. I've been
yeah,
working with him.
yeah.
Lane put on a really good show last time. He actually beat up a fighter that I became friends with, and there's just a lot of talent in the room. So if you guys are in the Pacific Northwest and want to check out the show, get your tickets Saturday for here in Spokane. But if you guys are available, go take that drive, take that flight up to Boise, and come check out Front Street.
That's dope. Well, good luck. Thank you again for coming on the podcast. If you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We're monetized now. We're making a little bit of money. Devon Jackson, MMA fighter, fighting this Friday, Front Street Fights. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Boom.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. That was quick. That was dope. Love it. One thing throw that mic back on real quick. One thing I wanted to ask you about, because I know Brady got hurt, and there was like a little situation where, like,
He met returned me and yeah, tweaked his knee.
what do you remember from that? And did you feel?
I felt shitty because I just moved here. Was the perfect training partner because I was the only person who would actually stay naturally in Southpaw, and I had showed up late to the last training session, and it was this cool down round. So I showed up. We had guys from Seattle, and Rick had told Brady not to do a lot, and I showed up, and I was like, Brady's like, oh, I'll do the last round with you, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I was like, I wanted to work, but I was like, I was late, bro. It's okay. And he's like, no, it's just a cool down round, and I was like, all right. So I'm expecting us to
You're
just
going in full, like, no, not tired at all. Like,
yeah, and I'm fresh, and so I'm expecting to kind of just stand because he's already warmed up. He's pristine.
Yeah, yeah.
He already did his four rounds with the other guys and was winning. So me and I'm the smallest guy, so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm just gonna move around with you because it's your cooldown round. So I'm gonna move around, stand. I don't expect no takedowns. Homie still shoots on me, takes my back, and I'm like, don't stay down, get up. And as soon as I stand up, I'm like, oh, here we go again. He's gonna freaking bomb me because he's been doing it all fight camp. Goes to pick me up, and something's different. He picks me up and sets me down gently, and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
what the heck? And then he's like, oh no, bro, we're done. And I'm like, what do you mean we're done? He's like, I don't know, something felt a little weird, but like, yeah, we're done. I'm just gonna go like stretch. And then the atmosphere in the room changed, and I was like, okay, like now I'm a little worried. And then so now the guys from Seattle are a little worried, and Brady's like, no, I'm gonna be all right. I'm just gonna go home and ice it. And then I was like, okay. So then what? 2 days go by because we're going into the weekend. So it's Sunday. He tries to go test it with Dylan, and he's like, no, I did a whole workout with Dylan. I did squats and bike, and I'm like, okay. And Rick comes back, and he tells Rick, he's like, hey Rick, like something may be a little wrong, but like I went and did a workout and I feel fine, but just like something happened on Friday. So Rick's like, okay. Again, we come in on Friday, and he has them just moving around, and one plant, no, with nobody around, just one plant, and all you hear,
Oh,
it was the
so
most
it wasn't fully.
no, it was the most craziest, surreal thing I've ever witnessed in my life. And Rick's like, yep, that's the fight. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like Brady fought with a torn ACL in the Ultimate Fighter and didn't say not a word to us until the finals. I know that sound, and that's the snap of a tendon.
Oh my god.
And he's like, I've never seen Brady in so much pain. And Brady got right back up. It took him about 20 seconds. He was like, ah, okay, move it. Stood up and then started moving around again. And Rick's like, no, that's something's really wrong. And so me at that point, I'm just like, I'm the new guy. I'm the person that got slammed and was a part of the injury. So now I'm just like, got this guilt trip, and I'm like, man, why did I have to show up late? But like, it's the fight world. I had to talk to a couple other people, and they're just like, bro, accidents happen, and it's like, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, he might return to you. And I asked Brady, and he's like, yeah, bro, I was doing what I normally do. I went to go mat return you. I think I stepped on my shin guard wrong, or on the mat wrong, and he cuts a lot of weight as it is. It's just, your body never knows what's going to happen. And so that's the
He
ultimate.
wasn't like upset or.
Oh, no, he was just, because he's already coming off a knee injury before.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for him, it was just like, what the heck?
Right.
It was a simple, I went to go step, and it just gave out. And it felt like I guess a slight tear, and then it turned into a full tear a couple of days later when he went to go plant. And that's what was crazy about it, because when it actually popped, there was no punching, it was literally movement. You're shadow drilling, and went to step, and I will never forget that sound.
He ended up being out for how long after that one?
So he's barely coming back off an injury. He's been training since about, I would say, March, April. And honestly, I thought he was still gonna fight that fight. He would have actually won that fight, I believe. I think the only thing that possibly could have went wrong is if he stepped wrong and it gave out completely. But like, we trained up until that fight still, and with me being convinced because he fought with that knee injury before. Homie took my back, put me in a body triangle, and I was about the same size as the guy that he was fighting. So with that being said, I'm like, well, as long as you bring your normal pressure that you normally do, if you can get your hands on him, it's a wrap. Because he has the most unorthodox wrestling style, jiu-jitsu style, that without being a wrestler. And so, like, I think, like anybody in the game, he's trained with the top athletes like Marab. If he gets his hands on you, it's just a hard reality check.
Yeah.
You never know what you got yourself into.
I think he made the right decision, though. I think could he have won the fight? Sure,
But the longevity, yeah.
Longevity, would it have looked good for him to just lay on somebody for 3 rounds and just to get the W? And
No, for sure, for sure.
I don't know. I hope that he comes back 100%. I do think he matches up very well with literally the top 5 in the 135-pound division right now. So I think he could be a world champion.
Oh, no doubt. I believe
right?
Brady Heinzet's gonna have a UFC title one day. He is one of the best bantamweights out there, honestly, and it's just a matter of time. He has youth on his side, so like you said, I think he made the executive decision to kind of get his body back to 100%, because he's still so young and he has this long time frame to have a career.
Yeah.
And so like I said, looking forward, I do see Brady having a title around his belt and
crazy.
bringing a UFC title back to the Pacific Northwest.
Crazy how long he'll be in the UFC. Like
Man,
end of his
it's
career.
crazy, and kids are getting younger and younger. It's like the that kid who came in at what, like 19. Like
Even
it's
Chase Hooper too, I think, was like very young when
what's
he came
so
in.
crazy is how small Chase Hooper was. If you go look at Chase Hooper now to when he fought on Dana White, man, I'm like night and day. I'm
Is he a
like,
different weight class now?
yes,
He
he's
moved
grown
up.
like 3 weight classes.
Really? Damn, that's wild.
Huge. I met him. I remember crossing paths. I remember training with him when he first got into the UFC off of Dana White's contenders, and I was like, man, this kid's kind of small. Now, bro, dude's like what, walking around like 175, 180. I'm like, bro, you grown up. You're a whole man now.
Does he have a fight booked right now?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check that. He should have one coming up because he hasn't fought recently. I haven't watched one of his last fights. I think the last time I watched him was probably about 2 months or 3 months, and he's usually pretty active.
Yeah, he's been like killing legends. Like he's been going on the Legends tour.
It's like the babyface killer is what I would call him because homie looks young and you wouldn't expect that his hands have came together. He come from what I personally know is like a jiu-jitsu background, and he's putting it all together. He's literally put it all together, and he's a scary force to be reckoned with. So, like I said, the younger generations getting twine and training, getting an earlier start. MMA is still new, and so I feel like there's a lot of growth for this sport. Did you hear about the UFC fights at the White House?
No.
Man, I just saw the picture. It looks crazy.
What the fuck? Oh, is that what John Jones posted?
That's why I think he was. So there's a lot of doubts upon like if he's gonna come back or not. It'd
That
be cool
is
just to watch him again. I know him and Tom. Tom's a younger guy. That's been feud's been going for a really long time. I think they need to figure that out.
for sure.
But I think Dominic Cruz put it the best that with MMA being such a new sport and traveling in all the cities, I think it just kind of creates a unity as a world because, like I said, it comes from gladiators.
Yeah.
Every whatever culture or whatnot, we all come from fighting in some type of way. So, in a more respectful and sportsmanship way, it brings all the cultures together. And at the end of the day, we can all shake hands and be like, "Hey, yo, like," and learn something about another and be friends at the end. So I think that fight at the White House, I think is going to be legendary. I think it's just one for the books, no different than when they had at the Dome. Watching that, the visual effects was just through the roof, and they're pushing the limits. I remember they were talking about the Coliseum.
Yeah. From Zuckerberg or something.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
who knows? The sky's the limit, yo. Like, cause you can put a cage anywhere.
Yeah.
You can literally put a cage anywhere and get people to travel. Remember Fight Island? That came out of nowhere. So that
And Dana is 100% willing to do that crazy shit too.
innovative, and the people will love it. That's the people love something different. So you never know what's gonna come next, and hopefully later in time I'll get to be a part of that.
That's sick. Let's wrap it up there. Thank you again, man. The Great Bambi 42, Devon, The Relentless, DJ Quick, Jackson, Friday, Front Street Fights. Catch it. It's on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
It'll be on YouTube for free.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Free on YouTube this Friday. Catch it. Watch him win. Watch him get another KO. Let's go. Boom. Hell yeah. All right. That's good. That'll wrap it.